I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
I believe in miracles. Yes!
Is this the dagger?
It's April 11th, sports fans, and we're starting to get into the really sweet spot of the year for sports. This time of the calendar year, there's always a ton of historic sports stuff to talk about because there's always a ton of sports stuff happening. The NHL and NBA regular season ends and playoffs begin. Baseball season is underway. The NFL draft is approaching, and the Masters happens this week. It's peak season to be a semi-competent sports broadcaster. Today alone, we've got some classic stories like the Lakers hitting an all-time low, at least until next season. American movie theaters start to feel slightly drafty, while MLB parks start to feel slightly leaky. 2 brand new baseball palaces open up on the same day. 2 brand new baseball teams start out on a winning note. 2 inner circle NHL players hang them up on the same day and on the same team. And the golden bear becomes the apex predator in the woods of Augusta.
Wow.
And speaking of the Masters, today's Dork Draft sees us put on our khakis and visors and venture into the golf world for the first time ever. That's why I'm wearing this silly hat. With too much content to tease during the teaser, our listeners are clearly the clubhouse leader for today's episode of This Day in Sports.
It's a great visor.
It is a wonderful visor.
Great visor.
I'm going to
there.
regret wearing this. But.
And you know, I don't know if you can get them here, but down here at Cabin, you can get all sorts of stuff. If you can't get a visor,
You
can
get better
some,
hats than this.
Well, you got better hats. You got some socks. You got a tie. You got some sweaters. You got everything you can do for shaving, your hair care, whatever you need at Cabin, gentlemen's barbershop and gentlemen's supply. Get a cut, get a shave, get a ton of compliments here at Cabin, and also the other 2 locations, 3 locations in the GTA area.
3. I noticed
I popped it.
You popped your collar. I'm going to pop my collar too.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like with the visor.
So if you're
you have
listening to this, we are wearing golf shirts.
We are.
And I am.
The 4 of us are wearing.
Yeah, we are all wearing
Frank's got a golf
gear.
look back there too.
And I am wearing a red visor that I borrowed from my mother.
Oh,
That's not a
That
joke.
was when she
That's
worked at
true.
KFC.
This is, well, yes. And it's what she golfs in. So it's both.
Both those things.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm wearing a toque with my golf.
You're a Winnipeg golfer.
Yeah, Winnipeg Jets. He's got the current Winnipeg Jets logo golf
Well,
shirt
when you
on.
golf in Winnipeg for a lot of the, you got to wear
You
it.
do need to
It's
toque.
chilly, yeah.
You do. You absolutely do.
That's right.
Here we are. This is for April 11th, This Day in Sports. So
Correct.
if you're a new listener, we're going to go through all the things that happen on this day. We're going to have a draft somewhat associated with this and what we're wearing. And it's highly entertaining.
Take it from us.
Somewhat factual.
Somewhat entertaining.
A lot of facts, a lot of fun. You know, what else can they expect, Matt?
Well, I'm just enjoying this previously on. Like, I like that
That's
you're
catching
explaining
people up.
Yeah.
And you want to know why I'm doing that, Matt?
Why is that?
Episode 40.
Oh,
So I thought this was a
wow.
milestone.
Okay.
So let's catch people up. Who's going to listen to the next 40 to take us to 80?
Yeah.
Those might be new listeners. If you've been around since episode 1, we certainly appreciate it. 40 episodes of This Day in Sports. That's pretty
This is the
incredible.
big 4-0, yeah.
We did it.
We've had some laughs.
Yeah.
We've had some arguments.
Some
Yes, we
tears.
have. Yeah.
Some tears. Some.
Some great guests.
Some great guests.
Amazing, right?
Amazing guests over these past 40
Considering
episodes.
it's our first 40, yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. And we have people, and if you're a great guest and you can come back, it's even better, right? We have these repeat guests
Yeah.
as well.
We got some sweatshirts. That
Yep.
was one. That was a highlight.
Yeah, great hats.
Oh,
too
no hat,
small,
no hats yet. Still working on Louis getting us a hat, but that's our sponsorship here at Cabin. And one thing I throw out there as we go into our next 40, if you are a fan of the show, put in our comments, who do you think we should get as a guest? Now, don't be weird about it and make it so it's impossible,
That's
but
right.
there could be gettable.
We're not going to get Obama.
Thank you. That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean? I'd love to get him on and make his March Madness picks with us,
Sure.
but I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not going to happen, but if you've got someone we haven't been thinking of, perhaps, it
Yeah.
doesn't even have to be a sports figure,
That's
it can be
great.
entertainment, whatever
That's
it is.
great.
Put it in our comments, suggest who we should get. We'll go and pursue them,
Yeah.
see if we can get them on
sure
the
will.
show just for you, our beloved fans of This Day in Sports. So, Matt, it's April 11th. What should we talk about first? What's the first event?
April
on this day?
11th, 1989, Flyers goalie Ron Hextall scored the second goal of his NHL career and became the first goalie to score in a playoff game as Philadelphia defeated Washington 8-5. His goal came with just over a minute left and was into an empty net as the Caps had Pete Peters on the bench late in the game.
Oh, Pete Peters.
Brandon, Manitoba's Ron Hextall, too.
That's it. And interesting character, Ron Hextall. All the penalty minutes, the fights he would get into.
Feisty.
The aggressive feistiness of him, scoring those goals. One of my favorite stories about him was when he was in junior hockey. He was playing in Melville, Saskatchewan, for friends of the podcast in Melville, Saskatchewan.
Shout out Melville.
And it reportedly is how he first got recognition by the scouts in the NHL. He faced 105 shots.
Oh my gosh!
They lost the game 21-2. Oh, he made 84 saves.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when the scout called it in, he said, like, you just hold on to the whole story. 84 saves, but it was 21-2.
Yeah,
and he still got scouted, and people started looking for him.
Probably thought it was for the whole tournament or something. It was just one game.
Nope.
But if you're thinking, I don't know if you remember this goal, and you're thinking, wow, that was a long time ago, 1989.
Yeah.
I believe that was also the last time that two Canadian teams were in the final.
Wow.
Because Calgary beat Montreal, I think 1989.
1989.
Right.
Yeah, that's Lanny McDonald's last game.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
2014, Steph Curry had 30 points, 12 assists, and 10 rebounds as Golden State pounded Los Angeles 112-95. The loss was the 54th of the Lakers season, setting a new franchise record for the most losses in a season. With Kobe Bryant requiring surgery for a torn rotator cuff and playing just 6 games that year, the hapless Lakers were led in scoring by none other than Nick Young, who averaged 17.8 a game. Head coach Mike D'Antoni was fired after the season, but it was just the first of the 4 worst seasons in the team's history, all in a row. They lost 61 the year after that, 65 the year after that, and then 56 after that under 2 different head coaches, Byron Scott and Luke Walton. The Lakers did not have a winning record again until 2020.
Wow. Forget.
Ooh.
I know, you kind of do, right?
Yeah.
Those last years for Kobe he was carrying a lot of,
Yeah.
like Nick Young and Sasha Vujacic. Like there were some bad teams.
Had he not won some championships, he certainly would have been begging to get the hell out of there. That's for sure.
Yes.
Just find some way to win.
There was times he wished he did sign with the Clippers.
Yes. 1980. The Whalers were swept out of the first round of the NHL playoffs with a 4-3 overtime loss to Montreal. It was the final NHL game for 2 major legends, Gordie Howe and Bobby Hull. Hull was 41 years old and been traded to Hartford in February, playing just 9 regular season games there. Howe was 51 and played all 80 games for the Whalers that season, the first in the NHL. Yeah, at 51 he played all 80 games.
That's incredible.
There are players today in their 20s who sit out games for
Feelings management.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. I was pretty young, but I strangely remember this series because I seem to remember that I came home from school one day and there was a game on TV. It was like a midweek afternoon game in 1980 in Hartford, and I just remember being like so excited that there were. There was hockey midweek in the because at that time I don't know if the ratings were what it was in 80. They're like throw a game on.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
But that's interesting. Again, I talked about this last when you're talking about immaculate grid for hockey. Remember, Bobby Hull was a Whaler. That was
like I think he played like 9 games, or what did you say? Yeah,
that's it. And I'd totally forgotten that Bobby Hull played.
I saw Gordie Howe play the Sabres with the Whalers that year.
Wow.
Like live.
Yeah.
We went to a Buffalo game.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what it meant at the time.
No.
And it was so weird. I was like, a kid, and you're like, why is the really old guy here with everybody else? Like, it was so weird. I didn't really know who Gordie Howe was.
Especially old because probably, there's no helmet, right? So
he wasn't wearing a helmet or anything.
Yeah.
So he was like this white-haired guy who looked like he shouldn't even be the referee.
Yeah.
But he was just fine out there with everybody else. Like you said, he played 80 games.
That's insane.
Incredible.
Yeah. Matty.
Yes. What day are we? We are still on April 11th.
We're still in April 11th. Was that such a long story, Matt?
It was a beautiful story.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of beautiful stories, in 2014, Draft Day, a movie directed by Ivan Reitman and starring Kevin Costner, was given wide release in movie theaters. Costner plays Sonny Weaver Jr., general manager of the Cleveland Browns, who's trying to figure out what to do when his team gets the first overall pick in the NFL draft. There's a great supporting work. There's a great cast, great supporting work from Dennis Leary as the Browns head coach, Frank Langella as the team owner, the late great Chadwick Boseman as a potential top pick, and you got real life NFL personalities like Roger Goodell, Chris Berman, Mel Kiper Jr. appear in the film. Former Texas running back Houston Texan running back Arian Foster even had a role as a running back prospect. Critical reception for the film was mixed. It had a 54 out of 100 rating on Metacritic. And the box office numbers were equally medium, spending 2 weeks in the top 10 before quickly fading.
Yeah.
Like Bo Callahan's draft status. Am I right? Fans of the movie?
I mean, really, if you give the football to your dying mother, that gets you drafted, right? Wasn't that the deal that we found out in that movie?
I just know.
I can't remember.
He gets in trouble for giving the football to a fan, and then Kevin Costner goes, I just found out that fan was his mother. His mother was dying of cancer when he gave her that ball. That's the guy. That's the character guy you want. That was the big twist.
Was that Vontae Mack?
I think so. Yeah,
no
Vontae
matter
Mack,
what?
Yeah.
Don't want to spoil the movie. But
yeah, but that's it. They find out why he gave that football to the fan.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys like the movie?
I did.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, Mike?
Yeah, it was okay. I don't remember much. I only watched it once.
It's candy if you're a sports fan.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Frank?
Google reviews 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, you watch something like Moneyball when they're making the trade. You know, like that's such a great scene when they're making trades. And then you watch.
Now, would that be a friend of the podcast in that scene?
Oh, in that scene as well. I'm
Yeah.
talking about when they're on the phones,
the
but
phones,
also
this.
with the Reed Diamond scene.
Yeah.
But those scenes were so incredible. And then the scenes in Draft Day when they're like trading picks and kind of like really working over the other general managers, it's kind of a little borderline silly.
Okay.
All right.
Still candy.
Yeah.
Speaking
totally.
of silly, get that cap on.
Speaking of silly, you talk to the guy in the red cap.
Nice visor.
1965, Jack Nicklaus shot a 69 on Sunday to win the Masters by 9 strokes over Arnold Palmer and Gary Player. Wow. His combined 4-day score of 271 stood as an Augusta record for over 30 years until Tiger Woods shot 270 in 1997, and his third-round score of 64 shared the course record for over 20 years. A year later, on the same date, Nicklaus won the tournament again in an 18-hole playoff with Gabe Brewer and Tommy Jacobs, becoming the first player ever to win it in back-to-back years.
Ooh.
That's why we love golf on this show, right? Yes, we do. All right. 2021, recently, Hideki Matsuyama became the first Japanese player to win a major PGA tournament when he shot a 278 or 10 under, edging out Will Zalatoris by one shot to win the Masters. He also became the first Asian-born player to win the Masters.
Cool.
There you go.
Sticking with golf, so 3 golf in a row.
Here we go.
2013, 14-year-old Tianlang Guan of China became the youngest player ever to compete in the Masters and shoots a 73, which is 2 shots better than defending champion Bubba Watson and better than 37 other golfers that day.
I love that.
That's incredible.
It's
14
incredible.
years old.
And he beats the guy who won it the year before. Fantastic.
Tianlang Guan.
1963, on opening day of the season, Braves pitcher Warren Spahn threw a complete game, allowing just 6 hits and 1 earned run and a 6-1 win over the Mets in Milwaukee. The win was his 327th of his MLB career, passing Eddie Plank to become the winningest left-handed pitcher in MLB history. He retired with 363 wins, 34 more than Steve Carlton, who is the second most by a lefty. In the game, Duke Snider, who had hit 389 home runs for the Dodgers, hit his first home run for a different team, the Mets, off of Spahn for the only damage against him in the game. I bet you almost nobody could name who has the most wins by a left-handed pitcher in baseball history. I bet you Warren Spahn, maybe
so.
10 out of 100,
Yeah.
1 out of 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
Probably people would guess Randy Johnson, which would be a good guess, or
Yeah.
Steve Carlton. I don't think people would guess Warren Spahn. Maybe it's a little far back.
Get there. You might get
You
there.
might get
but
there.
Yeah.
So wait, yeah.
Yeah.
But because he's kind of a quiet guy and he played in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago now.
It is a
too.
long time ago,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. In April 11th, 1907, future Hall of Fame New York Giants catcher Roger Bresnahan. He became the first backstop in MLB history to wear shin guards during a game. First to wear shin guards all time. Apparently, Bud Fowler in the Negro Leagues wore them first.
Oh, yeah?
But in 1907 in MLB, it was Roger Bresnahan.
Roger Bresnahan.
Yeah, 1907.
I wonder if they, before it did like, kids playing hockey where you put the catalogs for shin pads.
Yeah.
Tape. I wonder if
Pillows.
people did
Wrap your pillows.
Phone books.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1907, the Phillies were awarded a win by forfeit after rowdy Giants fans at the Polo Grounds threw snowballs onto the field in response to the home team's poor play on a cold day in New York. When one of the snowballs struck crew chief Ben Clem in the head, the game was officially awarded to Philadelphia. The Giants were trailing 3-0 at the time.
Yeah. First game he wore shin pads. Seriously. Same game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Same game. The guy wears shin pads.
That's why the fans were mad.
There were snowballs.
Oh, it
I'd
is.
say-
But yet, the most surprising part of that story was it was Giants fans, not Philly fans, throwing snowballs.
Well-
Because those guys are classless assholes.
Hey!
Whoa, hold
Allegedly,
on. No.
Allegedly.
We can say that Phillies fans got their revenge 61 years later by pelting Santa Claus with snowballs.
Yeah, thank God.
That's right.
And then Eagles fans, throwing batteries. But,
No, the Philly fans were the ones throwing the snowballs, is what I'm saying, at Santa.
At Santa. And it was also, it was actually, who knows with Phillies fans. The battery thing was probably all the sports in Philly. Garbage.
Yeah.
Allegedly, these views of Sandy towards Philadelphia that have been solely his own.
Frank, you can edit that out.
I'll stand behind that.
1980, Purdue University announced the hiring of Gene Cady as the new head coach of the men's basketball team. Cady spent the next 25 seasons with the Boilermakers, winning Big Ten Coach of the Year 7 times and reaching the Sweet 16 level of the NCAA tournament 5 different times. He retired in 2005 as the winningest coach in Big Ten men's basketball history, ahead of Bobby Knight. And he did all that despite only ever having one All-American player there in his 25 years, and that was the big dog, Glenn Robinson.
That's right.
Yeah.
Matt, I think I give you enough credit for the fact that you were trying to paint the picture that Giants fans were throwing snowballs because the catcher was wearing shin pads. I just want to get that. Would have been fantastic.
No, I wasn't.
I know that didn't happen, but I seem to allude that could have been a factor. And I just wanted the fans were so flummoxed by what the catcher was wearing that they just couldn't handle it anymore.
Their own catcher.
They had to attack them. Yeah, that's
Why
right.
is this
What
happening?
is happening?
It's fine. He's wearing shin pads.
1907. They went nuts. Well, there's not a lot of other things to do.
He was wearing them to stay warm. There was snow all around.
There we go. Look, we put it all together.
Yep.
We should just wrap up the episode there. April 11th, 1966, 51-year-old Emmett Ashford became the first black umpire in MLB history when he debuted in Washington, D.C. to call a game between the Senators and Cleveland, a minor league ump for 15 years. He umpired for 4 years in the major leagues, working the 1967 All-Star Game, the 1970 World Series before he was eligible for retirement in 1970. Then went on to work as an umpiring coach and teacher and MLB public relations advisor. Emmett Ashford.
2010, Reds pitcher Mike Leake made his MLB debut throwing 6 2/3 innings and allowing just 1 earned run as the Reds defeated the Cubs 3-1. Leake was a first-round pick from the previous year's draft, and he became the first starting pitcher since Jim Abbott in 1989 to make his first MLB start before ever pitching a single inning in the minor leagues.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible. Also interesting, Mike Leake spent 10 years in the majors. Jim Abbott also spent 10 years in the majors. Both were drafted out of high school, but went to college where they improved their draft stock and subsequently were drafted again, both at 8th overall in the first round.
Interesting. Nice.
Yes.
Good research.
Way to go.
Yeah.
2000.
Bravo.
2 brand new MLB ballparks opened today. Detroit replaced Tiger Stadium after 88 years with Comerica Park, just a short distance away, defeating the Mariners 5-2. And across the country, the Giants finally escaped the cold weather and swirling winds of Candlestick Park when they opened the brand new Pac Bell Park. San Francisco lost their first game there 6-5 to who else? The Dodgers.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. All right. Let's go to 1961. The American League's 2 new teams both won their first ever games today on opening day of the season. Minnesota Twins, formerly the Washington Senators, defeated New York 6-0 at Yankee Stadium. And the California Angels, an expansion team, won 7-2 in Baltimore. The Twins and Angels finished 7th and 8th in the AL standings that season. So don't get too excited, friends.
It started well.
You're going to suck.
And then reality set in.
That's right.
Quick hits?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, let's fire it up. Let's get it going. Quick hits. 1969. Nearly 18,000 fans showed up at Six Stadium for the first ever MLB game in Seattle. The Pilots defeated the Chicago White Sox 7-0. The Pilots played just 1 season in Seattle, went 64-98, and then moved to Milwaukee to become the Brewers. The Mariners returned MLB baseball to the Pacific Northwest in anyone?
77.
Same year as the Blue Jays.
It was yes.
Ball 4, right? That's Jim
Yep,
Bouton,
that's right.
who was playing for the Pilots.
They win that game. They won that game 7-0. Once again, don't get too excited, fans.
Yeah.
They're going to
It's-
suck.
that's
And they're going to
your
leave.
team. Yeah. They were
Quick hits.
over 500
Quick
for 1 year.
hits.
Quick hits! 2002, the Senators defeated Boston 4-0 in Roger Nielsen's first game as Ottawa's head coach. Nielsen became the first man ever to be head coach of 8 different NHL franchises: Toronto, Buffalo, Vancouver, LA, the Rangers, Florida, Philadelphia, and Ottawa.
Wow. Quick hits.
Sandy, in honor of our golf episode,
Yes.
could you please do this quick hit like you're a golf announcer?
Okay, sure. Hello, friends. It's April 11th, 2023. Frank, what the fuck?
See, that never happens in golf, Frank.
Hello, friends. It's April 11th, 2023. Cincinnati pitcher Derek Law became the first in MLB history to throw just one pitch and be charged with 2 earned runs. Law entered the game in the bottom of the 10th inning with a zombie runner placed on second base and surrendered a walk-off 2-run home run to Braves catcher Sean Murphy on the first pitch he threw. The rule where a base hit runner was placed on second base in extra innings had just been initiated by MLB to begin that season. Get in the hole! I think that's all you needed. It was long. I didn't realize it was going to be a long one.
I
like
didn't
that.
realize you had chosen a long one,
Yeah,
but
that is.
it was very golfy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just no problem.
2018, at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Marc-Andre Fleury made 30 saves for the shutout as the Golden Knights defeated LA 1-0 for their first playoff win in franchise history. Shea Theodore scored the only goal for Vegas, beginning their playoff run that year, where they reached the Stanley Cup Finals during their first season in the NHL as an expansion team.
Quick hits, 1975. Henry Aaron returned to County Stadium, playing his first game in Milwaukee in over a decade after the Braves had traded him to the Brewers in the offseason. The Hammer spent 12 MLB seasons in Milwaukee with the Braves until they moved to Atlanta in 1966, won an MVP and a World Series there, and he went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk as the Brewers beat Cleveland 6-2 in front of over 48,000 fans who braved temperatures barely above zero to witness his return.
Nice. Quick hits! In 1974, Mets first baseman Ed Kranepool singled in his first pinch-hitting appearance of the season, an 8-7 loss to the Cardinals at Shea Stadium. That season, Kranepool set an MLB record for the highest batting average in pinch-hitting situations. He batted .486, 17 for 35 in those spots.
Not too shabby.
Quick hit! After 13 seasons in St. Louis, the Cardinals traded outfielder and future Hall of Famer Enos Slaughter to the Yankees in exchange for 3 players. Slaughter was 38 years old at the time. He had been a 10-time All-Star for the Cardinals and was a big part of 2 World Series winners there as well. Quick hit.
2007, quick hit. Canucks goalie Roberto Luongo set an NHL record for the most saves by a goalie making his playoff debut when he made 72 stops during Vancouver's 5-4 win over Dallas in quadruple overtime. The 6th longest game in NHL history, regular season or playoffs, finally ended when Henrik Sedin scored 18 minutes and 6 seconds into the 4th overtime.
Is that the game where you had to take off to the bathroom?
Probably.
Makes sense.
That's not in my research,
Yeah.
but that sounds likely.
Dump and chase.
Yeah.
Quick hits! 1993, Pete Sampras clinched the world #1 ranking for the first time in his career by winning the finals of the Japan Open in Tokyo over Brad Gilbert 6-2, 6-2, 6-2. Sampras officially took the #1 ranking from Jim Courier the next day. He held the top ranking for a total of 286 weeks in his career.
Dim the lights, light the candles.
Oh, here we go.
It's time for birthdays.
Okay.
Happy birthday in 1965 to basketball player and broadcaster Doris Burke in West Islip, New York.
1976, former Toronto Blue Jays starter and closer Kelvin Escobar in La Guaira, Venezuela.
Happy birthday in 1964, 2-time AL Cy Young winning pitcher Brett Saberhagen in Chicago, Illinois.
Surprise birthday, 1970. I don't know why it's a surprise, but to 2-time NHL All-Star, longtime Vancouver Canucks captain Trevor Linden in Medicine Hat, Alberta.
Well, I was surprised because his mom didn't expect to have a child. She thought she was done having children. Allegedly. Not a real story.
No. Legendary Islander Trevor Linden.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
1955, four-time NBA All-Star point guard Michael Ray Richardson in Lubbock, Texas. Michael Ray Richardson was suspended by the NBA pretty early in his career, but if you look up, he was one of the least known players from the 80s. He was a great player, and his numbers were crazy in the 80s. That's kind of why I wanted to mention him.
Yep.
He was suspended for drugs. He makes some points about the duality of like white guys getting not suspended for their like.
Well, that happened in baseball too.
Yeah, and he got like the book thrown at him, and ended up playing in Europe and stuff. But for the first half of the 80s, Michael Ray Richardson was really, really good.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. He's coming on the show. I know it.
Now I've got a death, but I think you guys should get your birthdays done.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do a happy birthday, 1995, to Blue Jays utility player Kevin Biggio in Houston, Texas.
A lot of Blue Jays depth today. Happy birthday, 1980, three-time MLB All-Star, a five-time Gold Glove first baseman, Mark Teixeira, great teeth in Annapolis, Maryland.
I always remember about Teixeira that he had a lot of injuries, and then he went gluten-free.
Yeah.
And it cured his injuries, he
That's
claimed.
right.
He claimed that was a huge difference in his body.
That's right.
Just went out there for all you gluten-free fans like Mike's wife.
My wife. She's very excited.
Well, put the gluten away as well as the wheat because we need to get sad for a moment.
As well as the
Well, fuck it. You don't want to be sad. This is Harold Ballard. 1990, former Toronto Maple Leafs Hamilton Tiger Cats owner Harold Ballard at age 86. Check out the doc. What a wonderful human. All right. So anyway.
Frank's enjoying that very much.
I watched that doc. It was spot on.
Ballard.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
Good Lord.
He and Marge Schott were lovers at one point.
They should have been.
Allegedly.
You're kidding.
Well, they probably are right now.
No, he is kidding.
They're upstairs in heaven making love right
Whoa.
now.
Whoa.
Only one thing you said about that was fake. Heaven.
I like to, you're
Well,
right.
friends.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt.
We have our golf. You have our golf shirts on. Matt's got his Jets. You've got the visor.
Lots of golf
Frank's
content.
What do you got?
Contact.
Does yours have a pocket?
I think it's fake.
Of course.
Okay, yeah, fake
That's where you
pocket.
put
That's
the
very
scorecard.
golfy.
I've got
Yeah,
a Greg Norman. It's borrowed from my dad, but
Nice.
this is a Greg Norman.
I don't know what this
It's
is.
sharp.
Okay.
But we haven't really done a lot with golf on the show. We've
Well,
talked
it's
and
you
flirted
have
with it
certain
and-
months of the year it's better than others,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought we'd do a golf episode. We have a golf draft. And what we thought was, hey, we don't know that much about real golfers. So we thought we might do a draft where it is we put together sort of a Ryder Cup team, like 4 golfers of fictional golfers. We're going to draft 4 fictional golfers
That's right.
from whether it be movies, TVs, books, whatever it is, that are going to make up our lineups, and then we'll get judged on that. Who are the best fictional golfers of all time?
Great.
Now, I know what everyone loves to do on the show is see a dice roll happen on my computer. One of the favorite things, they're 3-sided dice, you know. We don't see a lot of those these days.
No.
Let's just make it happen. I'm going to go 3-sided, and I'm going to show, I'm going to go with Mike. You're going to get the first number that comes up here. Mike, you're going to go third.
Okay.
Matt, you are going to go second. So I'm going
Okay.
to go first. And this is, you have to trust me that that's what my computer told me
All right.
was the
We
truth.
do.
Well,
All right.
yeah.
You'll take my...
We will.
We will live with it. Yeah.
So, Sandy, you
Yeah.
have honors?
Yes,
The
I have
honor?
honors. I will have the
Steps
honors to
up to
tee
the
off.
tee?
I'm going to tee off here.
Yeah.
Pick my favorite fictional golfer.
Hear the starter siren.
And it's kind of tough to start this one off,
Yeah.
but I think that I'm going to go with my favorite golfer is going to be Roy McIlroy. That is, of course, Kevin Costner in Tin Cup.
yes.
It's going to
very
be
good.
my
That's great.
number 1 pick to lead off. As many of you know, Untouchable is my favorite movie. Kevin Costner, one of my favorite actors. I got to go with him.
Fair enough.
The first pick on my team is Shooter McGavin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured that.
I want Shooter on my team from Happy Gilmore, of course, played by Christopher McDonald. Very funny character.
Very funny. How I saw him interviewed once. He said like everywhere he goes, people want him to do Shooter McGavin.
Oh,
Like, it's
yeah.
all-
That's
It's
just.
amazing.
like in airports everywhere he's got to do the thing. Like
Yeah.
people want the video of him giving them the gun. Like
Yeah.
he's great. He's
Yeah.
great. He's so
Yeah.
funny. but that must be like
That's a lot.
He handles it great.
Well, I just got an email saying there's a big card show coming up, and he's there signing cards.
Right.
Like he's
yeah.
making a lot of money just doing those
As
shows.
As Shooter McGavin.
Yeah. Well,
I can't think of what.
as the guy who played. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean,
yeah. We didn't even say his name yet.
well, it's great. Yeah, Christopher McDonald.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Isn't there a rumor that they're going to make a sequel?
The sequel is
to it,
a
and
rumor.
And he's like, I'm going to take him down this time.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Okay.
Shooter
enough.
McGavin, we got our first golf
Shooter
villain
McGavin.
off the board.
First villain. Okay, I'm going to take Al Chervik, which is the character Rodney Dangerfield played in Caddyshack.
Good choice.
Rodney Dangerfield is so funny in that movie. Like every time you just see him, I start laughing. His jokes, some of them I haven't seen in a long time. It probably hasn't aged well,
Yeah.
I will concede. But he's still so funny, and the counter between him and the others is great. So I'm taking Rodney and Caddyshack.
I wanted to go somewhere else, but because you just said a character wouldn't hold up these days, I'm going to go with Dorf. Tim Conway.
I had him on my list.
Okay.
100%. Those are only available on VHS because we don't like to admit that we ever laughed at that.
Dorf on golf.
Dorf on golf.
Yeah, and if
Comedy gold.
if you're coming to our live show in Bob Cage and you have a copy of Dorf on golf,
Bring it.
You can make Matt really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
We'll play.
absolutely. I mean, no one looked better kneeling on their shoes than Tim Conway as Dorf.
Oh yeah,
on golf.
Golf.
Okay, well, I'm putting together my. I'm going to lean into my golf villains, so
Right.
I'm going to take Judge Smales,
Oh wow,
Yeah,
there
sure.
you go.
Ted Knight
Ted
from
Knight, yeah.
He's
Caddyshack.
great. He's so funny.
Yeah, just a hilarious performance.
And like the counter, but the two him and Rodney, it's
Yeah.
just like the best balance ever. It's so funny. Okay, it's so great. I'm gonna take sticking in Caddyshack. I'm gonna take Ty Webb.
Yeah,
which is
you know.
Chevy Chase's character, who's funny but also a really good golfer, I believe, in the film too. Right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's hard to imagine now, kids, when you see him. But at one point, Chevy Chase was seemed to be cool.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely
Like,
he did. I know it's hard to
yeah.
imagine.
It
should
really
be-
is.
Shouldn't really be hard to imagine for our generation because
No.
with Fletch and with Caddyshack and
Yeah,
all
like
these,
he had a good run there.
vacation movies, even
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is I'd be remiss at this point not to make this pick. I got to go with Happy Gilmore.
I was
Yeah,
waiting for
because
that.
you got to get one of the biggest fake golfers of all time
Yeah.
off
Perhaps
the boards.
yes,
and take him down to the Sizzler.
First-
All right.
Okay. Okay, so I've decided to go villains.
Oh yeah, you have two villains already.
I am going to really go villain here. I'm going to go with Auric Goldfinger. If you remember, he plays golf, and really what sells it is his caddy, Odd Job, who will make sure that your team gets a good round.
All right. I'm going to go a little deeper too. Well, not deeper, but I don't know if you remember. Of course, you probably do. From Seinfeld, Kramer was quite a good golfer.
Yep.
At one point, he's on trial and testifies that he shoots 3 under par. So I got to assume Kramer's got some game. So I'm taking Cosmo Kramer as my third member of my Davis Cup
Cosmo
team.
Brilliant.
Kramer. Okay.
Cosmo Kramer.
Well, I got it down to two that were playing it big time for laughs, but I'm going to go with the late great Carl Weathers as Chubbs Peterson. Because Carl won me another draft when I picked him as Reggie Jackson in the biopic. So feel like just for old time's sake, I got to go back to the late great Carl Weathers as Chubb Peterson, who would have won it all if it wasn't for that damn alligator.
I will finish out my team of antagonists here. I will take Don Johnson as David Sims, who is the Tim Cup antagonist.
Yeah. Matt with a team full of pricks.
Yeah, somebody's
that's
got to
unusual.
be.
That is
that's
actually
right.
unusual for you.
It's great.
I
Not to
just
be honest,
think
I'm not
it's,
being sarcastic. You're usually going for the good guys.
Okay, so for my last one, I'm going to take Mary Jensen, which is the part Cameron Diaz plays in There's Something About Mary. As you remember, she's quite a good golfer in the movie. And
Good dig. I forgot all about
That
that.
movie is very funny.
At the driving range.
Yeah, she's there at the driving range. She's pretty good. So I'm going to take her. Mary Jensen, There's Something About Mary.
That's a good
That's a
dig.
great
I'd forgotten
pick.
all about that. All right. Well, this is interesting. I don't really know I can't really pick how I think the judge of this is going to.
Wait, isn't that 4 each?
Yeah. I think we're done.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, no.
I got one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Frank's got
you
one.
guys, no, have you ever considered like the movie Tin Cup or Bagger Vance? Was there? I don't.
I have them on my Bagger Vance is on
we have
the
two
outside
from
here.
Tin Cup.
Okay.
Yeah, I have two. There's two on the outside from Bagger, but
I had
didn't have
two.
them.
Yeah.
I considered Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis from The Caddy.
Yeah, of course.
What my intro was going to be, was just going to say was, I don't know how our judge is going to select, like, what, because there's so many ways you can go. Like, oh, they seem to be actually good golfers. Oh, they made me laugh a lot. Oh, what a great actor playing that. So there's so many ways our judge can decide on these things. So we'll just have to find out right now.
Interestingly, we did not. Oh, sorry, we did not take Danny Noonan though. The Caddyshack.
We have the rest of the cast.
No.
Yeah.
And then technically, Bill Murray's character's a golfer.
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
But maybe not. I don't know. Let's get judged.
Let's get judged.
Let's get judged. Joining us today on This Day in Sports, Matt Baram and Naomi Snieckus. Baram, you may know him from Umbrella Academy, Painkiller, and Naomi Snieckus, Pretty Hard Cases, and The Social. And The Social, a whole bunch now. Make up Baram and Snieckus, a celebrated comedy team that bring to light their distinct dynamic, cultivated, of course, at the Second City in Toronto, and tested vigorously through real-life marriage.
Married.
Vigorously.
Right.
Yeah.
United, they vigorously and humorously critique the complexities of life and relationships and all its intricate glory. Welcome to the show, Matt and Snieckus. Hello.
Thank you. And they say there's no point in having AI, but that was fantastic.
Right?
We are a married couple.
We are.
And a lot of people look at us and they go,
Oh my God, it must be so much fun.
You're a comedy duo. You must
like wake up in the morning,
live
just
your
chuckle
life.
and just
You
like,
must have Chinese food
and
in
just
the
laugh
afternoon.
all the time. And it's not like that
It is.
at
Please
all.
help us.
It's just
It's
quite boring a lot of the time.
We need counseling.
Matt's just watches sports 24/7.
Perfect. Great for this. What's that, Matt? You what?
Matt started collaging.
Collaging.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for a reason not to really be with me.
Just to do something with you.
Yeah. Oh no, a reason to be.
That's
with
why
me.
people golf, right? To get away.
Beautiful segue.
Go out, leave family. That's the acronym.
Yeah.
For golf.
Is it?
I've never heard that. Is that true?
My father makes that joke once or twice a year. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Who was it that said that it's a nice walk ruined?
I
think that's George Bernard Shaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said Twain Shaw.
Yeah, one of those old guys.
I thought it was Joan Rivers. So
It was probably not Joan Rivers, but I can't say for sure. I always thought it was. I actually always thought it was Mark Twain, but maybe it was George Bernard Shaw.
get that fact checked.
Good luck,
Frank.
Where's Frank?
We'll get that fact checked by the end of the show. No props.
Frank's usually a fact checker, but he's.
I'm going to check it right now. You guys go ahead.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for that.
I knew if I yelled it loud enough, Mike would hear it.
He's texting Shaw.
Yeah, texting Shaw right now.
I was going to go, it's not me, man. It's Mark.
Yeah.
I'll get a hold of Twain too. Don't worry.
Okay. You're on thread?
GBS, checking his GBS.
Yeah. So circling back to what we were talking about.
Good job, Sandy.
Thank you. We all drafted our sort of Ryder Cup teams, our fictional golfers, or teams of 4, and then ended up being from just a few movies. Really, there was that these all came together from. So we threw it to the two of you and said, okay, we have these 3 different teams of 4 golfers, all these fictional golfers, but wildly different golfers. There's some villains, there's some good people, there's some all sorts of different characters involved in this. And we knew that. Now, I've golfed with Matt before. I've never golfed with Naomi. I wasn't sure what Naomi's background was at golf. So what's your golf background?
Yeah, I'm a Lithuanian golfer, which means.
You mean her background as a golfer?
Yeah. I have golfed. I mean, is mini putt, does that count?
Yeah.
I've golfed a lot. And I have to say, I think I'm one of those horrible golfers that gets out on the course, as it was. And I'm fantastic. I don't have to practice.
She doesn't have to. She's a natural.
I'm a natch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't need to. I'm just going to go out there and put the ball in the cup.
Do the two of you, do you dress for golf, or do you just figure you can wear whatever you like, or do you try and get caught up in the pageantry?
Well, we believe in well, no, look here's the thing.
Here we go. This is opening up a can of worms in our marriage.
We have a little golf course just around where our little cabin is, and it's 9 holes. It's I could say what it is, right? It's Marble Rapids.
It's a lovely course.
It's a nice little course, but it's the type of course where you don't even have to. You're at the cottage. You're just gonna you can come in your bathing suit.
No, you can't. No, now that's pushing. If they heard this, they would be livid. No, I think you have to dress a little bit nice because there's a little bit of respect for the crap. I mean, you're not gonna wear like a bathing suit, but you're gonna wear a little bit nice. I like when Matt always like puts a shirt into his golf bag just in case they make you wear a collared shirt.
Collared shirt,
But
yeah.
I like you bring the style to it. I think it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Make it your own is what I say.
Love that.
Matt, this is just a straight question then to Matt. Have you worn a bathing suit to that golf course?
That's a great question. And in fact,
I always have a bathing suit under my clothes. You know that, Sandy.
just in case.
That's true. I'd forgotten about that.
But how else are you going to get the balls when they go in the water?
Yeah.
We're still talking about.
Yeah, we're still talking about golf.
Sometimes I'll bring colored greens too.
Sometimes you'll pick colored greens, colored shirts. Yeah, I think it's just you like to be prepared.
Guys.
Like right now, go swimming. You could.
Okay.
Yeah, there was always, I remember sometimes hearing Matt when he walks on the golf course, there's that kind of sound of someone, like a bathing suit sound. So I guess that's where that's always been coming from.
And it's one of those old style one-piecers too, isn't it, Matt?
100%.
Top and bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, which makes like, oh, I have to go pee. And then I'm like, I'm going to be here for a while because he's got to get naked.
Yeah.
It's great when you're playing 36 because it just absorbs a lot of moisture, so you don't have to go.
Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody wants to hear about this part.
Yeah, it traps
I
it all.
can hear the sound of people pause.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great conversation. Thank you so much for joining.
Coming, guys.
Okay, great.
So this draft was these fictional golfers. Why don't we just jump into team one?
Can I just ask just a quick question?
Please, yeah, please.
It is the truth that I know maybe out of all the sports in the world, the least about golfing.
Oh, yeah.
So I appreciate you including me into like, I feel like I'm the little sister. Be like, oh, Naomi's not doing it. Let's invite her. And there's a couple that are like, oh, no, don't get Snieckus here. But I know nothing about golf. I've watched the movies. I've talked to Matt. I've driven a cart. I've washed
it's
the
a
balls.
point of view. We value that.
Well, let's also say, like, Naomi, you're a fantastic improviser, so you're obviously a great bullshitter. So, I mean, you can just
Oh my
pretend.
gosh. Namaste.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so
You know what I
much.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was a compliment.
That's so nice. Ready for BS.
I'm just saying, you can give us the bullshit if you want. You can pretend to be as much an expert as you want. And a lot of this is just about entertainment. It's not just golf. So
Edit that last part out. I know everything about golf. Here we
I
go.
don't think they do that. I don't think they edit things.
it's live. Team one. We have Roy McAvoy, which is Kevin Costner in Tin Cup. We have Happy Gilmore, which of course is Adam Sandler in Happy Gilmore, and then Dorf, who is Tim Conway, Dorf on golf, and then Chubbs Peterson, who is of course Carl Weathers' character, Happy Gilmore. So how do you feel about Team One? Tell us about some of those characters.
Matt, you've got a lot to say about this.
Well, I have a lot. Well, I do have a lot to say about this, but I will say just the McAvoy Kevin Costner character. First of all, rewatching that movie now, that movie is a terribly written movie.
It's horrible.
There's really bad dialogue in that movie, but it's also like they're handing Kevin Costner a comedy. Like it was bizarre.
Yeah.
To see him. Right?
But
Do we agree? Maybe we don't agree.
Those were pre-Waterworld days when Kevin Costner was like, I can do anything. And they're like, no, you can't, Mr. Costner.
But like even it was so the sex scenes were so nerdy. Like he's talking about mulligans and like shanking it.
And she's like, tee it up, sailor, or whatever. It's like it feels so embarrassed. Like I feel like I was watching the movie and like it's my mom and dad going, oh, Mom, Dad, don't be so weird.
As a golfer, do I trust a guy that is just going to disintegrate on the last hole every time, who does not learn the lessons, which is his flaw, right? He never will learn to what do you call it, to lay up.
Yeah.
Right.
He'll always go for it.
Yeah, he can't get his shit together.
And then his therapist is
Come
just telling
on.
him to go for it.
Yeah.
Well, you think that the whole reason he's seeing like a sports psychologist is to work through his problem.
We can't talk all Costner. We got to talk about the other ones too.
And also Tin Cup. But why would you call the movie a thing that
I know.
no one ever calls him?
It doesn't make any sense. Nobody says, hey, like they do a bit. They say, hey, it's Tin Cup, but it's the worst nickname ever.
Because of another sport where a guy threw a baseball.
You used to call Matt Boots, didn't you? When he wore boots to play football.
Matt's football nickname was
That's
Boots.
even better than Tin
wore
Cup.
boots one time.
Because he always wore boots.
But Tin Cup, like I thought it was going to be like a dance belt, like a tin cup.
It is.
Oh.
It's related to that. It's related.
Okay.
To
Anyway, I'm not a fan.
But you liked.
Did I?
No, but you liked
Happy Gilmore. I did. But Happy Gilmore actually was. I'm not a huge fan of Adam Sandler, but I did like Happy Gilmore, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Flaherty.
Yeah, Joe Flaherty.
I love Joe Flaherty. Anything Joe Flaherty is in, I'm just going to be like, I love it. But it was also funny. It made me laugh a couple of times.
It's great. I thought, I think it's also impossible that he would be good at anything but driving. You know what I mean? He's got the great drive. He could straighten it out, but I don't like his touch around the hole.
How dare you? This is a family channel.
Now, we didn't specify. It could be a best ball situation. So you could have Happy Gilmore just driving.
Okay.
Gotcha.
But at some point, Kevin Costner is going to have to come in and take a shot. And is he,
Is it going to be over the water hazard?
They're not going to get along well enough to be a foursome. They'll be like, they'll be at each other's throats. So can you imagine Costner and Sandler?
I don't know who's going to carry Dorf.
That's what we have
around.
to know about.
So how does he get?
He's going to go in the bag and one of those rolly things. Like his whole body's going to go in there.
I think he's going to get caught for slow play. Dorf, I don't think Dorf can actually swing a club. I don't think he can. He can teach. Some people can teach. Some people can golf. I'm sorry.
But maybe he's good at calming things down.
That's important.
Like Sandler's all riled up. Send Dorf in there is like, I'm coming. I don't know. I don't have a good Tim Conway impression.
Given the dialogue of those two other films, you can imagine the comments about Dorf.
Yeah.
With that threesome, how inappropriate they'd be too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. For sure there's going to be a fight between Happy Gilmore and Dorf. They're going to get into it.
Yeah, I would pay for that part.
Could you tomorrow go out and make a Dorf on golf and people would be okay with it?
No. You cannot do that anymore. That's done.
Those who don't know who Dorf is, it's Tim Conway basically on his knees with shoes where his knees are playing like a little person, right? I mean, he's out on the course.
I don't think you can do that anymore.
He's not only a little person.
But
Isn't he from like Norway? Like, where is he from?
Oh,
An
yeah.
accent. Yeah, it's sort of like I'm just going to do everything and a mashup in a character. All the characters I played on Carol Burnett are just going to be one character that is completely unacceptable in 2024.
Yeah. He was like, maybe I should go blackface. Maybe that's too far. And somebody was like, that's too far, Tim Conway. And that was the thing that stopped.
That was too far.
Yeah.
But it goes over to the hole and he gets the ball and then the Dorf. Yeah. So that's
very
not
good.
Someone's going to be
very good. That was good, Andy.
Sometimes when we're
fact on the road.
When we're trying to get out of the house and Matt's really slow, I'm like, come on, Tim Conway, let's get the lead out. So
because of his
the
conductor.
Yeah. There's a lot of slow characters.
We also know Dorfman. We also know famously we know an improviser named Dorf. I always get those mixed up.
Kevin Dorf.
But they're very different people.
Very different.
But moving on to Chubbs, speaking of great names, Chubbs Peterson.
You're like driving this.
Well, look, we've got 3 teams to talk about, and Matt's just waiting there, like just desperate.
Well, I think I know whose team this is.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm just I don't really know anything.
It's fishing to find out.
I think we've got another physical issue here.
Okay.
Well, only in that certainly this person is another coach, right? In his heyday, this man was fantastic.
Yeah.
He wrestled with a crocodile or an alligator, right? Lost his head.
That was the
in a
worst.
golf
The
accident.
costume person should have been asked to step down.
Fantastic.
You could see the lump of his hand holding the hand. Like,
How
it
much
was so
longer his
bad.
arm is to make this joke work.
I would like to actually, I'm going to, after fact, hey, Frank, can you fact check what happened to the costume person after that movie?
Yeah, no problem.
He's still looking up the quote. But we'll get
That's
it.
great. That's great.
I think, yeah, you also couldn't do that.
I feel like you didn't really love anyone on Team One. There was no Happy Gilmore. Yeah, okay,
I like
maybe.
Adam Sandler. I would vote. I'm a fan.
I do
that
think
movie, I'm a
that
fan.
I do think that if I was to believe that one of them was an actual golfer,
Yeah.
if their job was to convince me that they are a golfer because they're fictional golf characters, Kevin Costner's McAvoy is a golfer.
Call him by his name. Cup.
Yeah, tin cup.
Mr. Cup.
That's
Team two.
Okay,
No
team
particular segue. Team two. We have Shooter McGavin, Christopher McDonald, and Happy Gilmore. David Sims was Don Johnson in Tin Cup. Judge Smales, Ted Knight in Caddyshack. And then we have Goldfinger, the Bond villain. Now, these are all heels. These are all bad guys, right? I mean, this is a 4-for-4
Right.
bad guy. Talking about teams that wouldn't get along. I wonder how these villains would get along.
Or Team Unity.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're all,
Beautiful. Matt, that's beautiful what just happened there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is cheating all day.
All day.
Of course.
Because they've got each other's back. Where am I, by the way? I just need to know.
Which caddy you are?
Like, am I a fly on the wall? Am I in the crowd? Am I looking at the leaderboard? How do I see their interplay? Because if it's me hanging out with those guys, I like Team One because that's hilarious.
Who's the guy that picks up all the balls and then washes them?
The ball washer?
That's you.
yeah.
So you're the ball washer, but that's okay. I mean, this is any scenario you want. You each can have
Right.
different scenarios.
Yeah, true.
It's all up
If
to you.
I'm just sitting at home watching, I get to watch the antics. I like Team One. Team Two, I'm a little concerned with just in terms of how evil they are. They're stacked evil.
Don Johnson is like, he's not very nice to old people. And then he was like, he's fine. And then one scene, he's like, hey, old person. Like, he was kind of mean out of nowhere. Like, he was like an okay
I don't
guy.
give autographs, which is fine because he's in the middle of the U.S. Open.
But then the shock that Renee Russo had at hearing her beloved being mean to an older person.
He kicks puppies.
I just don't.
Ah.
I don't know.
It did have a little feel of like, we're shooting this thing, and man, you guys, I'm realizing he's not really mean to anybody. Like, we just have to throw something in. We got to just do something. Like, what do you got, Don? And it's like,
They brought in a family, and they were like, just be mean to this family.
Yeah,
that's we got it.
Speaking, I mean, if you wanted to get somebody mean, you should have gotten Ben Stiller, who was so mean to Francis Bay in the seniors' home.
Right.
That was so like, why don't you get him on the evil team? He was horrible. You couldn't do a scene like that now when he's like yelling at all the
Turns
seniors.
it into a sweatshop for quilts.
It was horrendous. Poor Francis Bay.
One thing I do remember about when Tin Cup came out, if I remember correctly, it was I actually think that was a bit of a Kevin Costner comeback. But then Don Johnson, I remember being a real shock. Like, Don Johnson, like, we haven't seen him in
How did you get him?
Well, just
I'm
where's he
available.
been?
Yeah.
And then he disappeared again until Knives Out. Like, he does, like, every 10, 15 years he comes back.
He does a decade. A film a decade.
Yeah.
I do feel like the Sims character is a bit boring in that, and they got Don Johnson to play this boring guy who lays up and doesn't do, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't go for it. And Kevin Costner got to play the rebel.
Was Don Johnson ever like multi-leveled though as an actor? Let's get into that for a second.
I can't.
That's pretty hard to know.
I also think like I love Ted Knight as
Oh, your voice dropped as you were saying that.
It's basically I invented characters just based on him, and I just think he's very, very, very watchable, and also just he completely fell apart at several times in this movie. And also Caddyshack, it came out in the 80s, right? And so I think it benefited from coming out at a time where people didn't know that much about golf.
Right.
You're right. It was like it was a real the whole thing about being a real snooty like country club
That's right.
place, and certainly like like a Bill Murray's character was not going to be ever like he's in the background. He's not allowed. They don't want him anywhere near the guests, really. Those guys.
Yeah, I love that. I think it was like people knew so little about it. They bought an ending where everyone jumps all over the green at the end and celebrates when they get into a tiebreaker, right?
No, oh wait, were we talking Caddyshack?
Yeah,
because then
Caddyshack.
Rodney Dangerfield's "Let's get laid," and everyone's like, "Yeah," and it becomes that.
Everybody, let's get laid.
Oh, beautiful.
And then they all jump into the. I love if you have the balls to end a movie with that line and then a big dance party. You can't.
And then a bunch of exploding greens and the gopher running around.
Yeah.
But also, those gophers did beautiful work.
Right.
But do you ever watch a movie and think like when he does that, "Let's get laid," because it's on him, and I imagine like there's no crowd. He's just by himself. The crowd's at craft services, and he's just like doing this and just mustering it up, and then turning it around. He's so relieved to have people cheering this weird line that he has to say.
I think this is a solid team.
You do have.
It's a solid team. They're good golfers.
I also have a thought. You know how Shooter, every time he got like he had a good shot, he'd be like,
Yeah.
It was always a bit undercommitted. Didn't you feel like it felt like they were like, "Oh, you know what? His name's Shooter. We got to give him something to do. Why don't you do this, Christopher McDonald?" And he was like, "Okay." Like I felt like he didn't really like the gig.
He didn't like it. Well, I mean, he could now.
You'll watch it again. You'll see it. And you'll be like, "It's just feels a bit."
You were saying earlier, and yet now he's doing all the conventions and signing autographs.
Is he? I did not know that.
The big draw at the golf conventions and sports conventions and stuff.
He always plays
Does not
that heel,
surprise
doesn't
me.
he?
I think I'd reframe what you're saying, Naomi, as he gave like a subtle and maybe restrained performance. Like maybe it was just
Beautiful work again, Matt. You're just the sunshine at the end of a.
I'll give you 3 guesses which team Matt picked.
I think he's fantastic. We disagree on that.
No,
Goldfinger.
He must be a lovely person. Yep.
So no, go ahead. Are you talking about Matt
And
Kippen person or the?
No, Matt's a lovely person. That goes without saying.
No, we also disagree on Matt Kippen.
He's the fifth villain. Okay, so yeah, Ted Knight's great, and I think that Matt, as you say, you're drawn to that because you like playing that sort of flustered character,
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's basically he's the one flawed link in that chain of very steady guys.
Yeah.
Who will give any other team a run for their money. I think Ted Knight's great because he'll pay other people. He'll do anything he needs to do to win.
Yeah. And just to perfect segue then, we got Goldfinger.
Yeah.
Who James Bond challenges on the golf course, and Goldfinger cheats his way until James Bond turns it around, cheats on Goldfinger, and wins the match.
Well, are they all cheaters except no, they're not really cheaters. That Sims isn't a cheater. He's just manipulating Costner, knowing that he's going to fall apart.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of cheated with the whole how he got the car. Like he kind of bamboozled him.
Right. He's a bit of a con artist, but so is, anyway.
So is Matt Kippen, right?
No,
yeah,
we disagree on that.
Do you want to shoot it into team 3?
Yeah.
You have Ty Webb, which was Chevy Chase and Caddyshack. Al Cervic, how's that? Cervic? That's the Rodney Dangerfield. Mary Jensen, of course, from Something About Mary, and Kramer. We all know from Seinfeld. Those are your characters in team 3. What do we think of that?
I mean, it's stacked. I love it. It's a hilarious round of golf.
I'm not sure how I feel about seeing a woman's name in here, to be honest. It makes me
that's
feel
fine.
uncomfortable.
Here we go, Naomi. Here we go.
I just think I can't wait for the year that women start playing golf. That's what I'm excited about.
We'll see.
Now, I haven't seen the movie for a while, but she's not hilariously good at golf. She's actually good.
Yes.
But
yeah.
I mean, all jokes aside, where is the female golf movie?
That's actually,
and I'm looking at like funny people that golf. So get right. I mean, I don't golf.
Maybe it's you have to.
I have to write it now. I have to write another.
Now I have to write another hit.
Yeah.
Another? Did I already do one? Oh, I don't think I realized I already wrote a hit. But all jokes aside, it's the same formula. Let's just throw in a couple of ladies in there and
Yeah.
Well, you need 4, right?
times 2. Solved.
I would say the like I love the Rodney Dangerfield that turn. Like every line is a banger. Everything he says is a joke.
Yeah.
And it all they weaved what he said into a story. And like I give you $14 and what is it? What is this thing he says to the on the dance floor? He said, "What you want to earn $14 the hard way?"
It's just atrocious.
He's like,
or when he like passes wind at the dinner table, you're like, "No, who let the duck in?" Like it's so bad.
so good.
The
Matt
steak
and I
still
just
has
found this.
marks from when the jockey whipped it. It's really good stuff.
Yeah.
But when the jockey whipped it, I don't remember that part.
I think he just I got to imagine when he was on set, he just got to do what he wanted to do, and they just said like, give us 100 jokes and we'll put in 20 of these.
Yes.
You know?
So
You're
then
right.
my question is like, what did he read on the page for Caddyshack 2 that made him not accept it?
I mean, Caddyshack too.
Because, you know, if he was worried about jokes, he had the jokes. So Jackie Mason ended up doing
Jackie Mason, Caddyshack too, yeah. He did the thing with the golf, and he went to the hole, and he hit the golf, he hit the ball. That's how he tells you all the time. Well, this is a Jackie Mason. He goes to the tee.
That's
He's on.
I don't think I ever recognized what an impersonation master you are.
I just took a class in impersonation.
You can tell
in 1980s impressions.
It's really good. You're gonna go far with your Tim Conway. And
That's why this podcast is taking off.
With the many voices of Sandy Joe.
Oh my God, please make a headshot where it's 4 headshots of you wearing different hats and mustaches.
The new Rich Little.
Yeah, the Rich Little. Yeah, the new Rich Little.
That's great. No, I love him. I love the Shervick character.
Put Rodney Dangerfield and Michael Richards together though. That's like,
does that cancel each other out?
No, they
canceled.
Because
Yeah,
everyone is annoyed by Al Shervick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Rodney Dangerfield would be annoyed by Michael Richards.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
Again, I'm just annoyed that there's a woman involved. It just makes me go, what are we talking about here?
I know. It throws it off quite
fair.
Yeah.
And Chevy Chase too. We got a lot of annoying on this list. I think if we're just talking about the actor, I mean, he's despised notoriously in Hollywood. Yeah. I loved him in Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Something happened. What do you think happened to him?
Well, you got Bill Murray on the same set, and those two hate each other. So that's a big volatile situation right away that Chevy Chase and Bill Murray have to work together. That's incredibly fresh off of their really hating each other, and still like this is when it was like right off of like the Saturday Night Live hatred, and it's amazing.
Still great scenes between them, you know, which is
I know it's crazy that they could do it, but I imagine the whole time they wanted to murder each other.
Matt, I love that you always want to talk about the craft. The beautiful thing.
They did that scene. I don't know if that was scripted. I heard that scene, they just put them together.
The pool or the pond scene?
Yeah, where he's playing through.
Yeah.
And they end up in the shed, like I don't know if it's a shed or the greenskeeper's quarters, and then he's introducing him to the pot grass that he's invented. And yeah, they just I think they did get along through the making of the movie, so that kind of got them back together.
It's nice.
And Chevy Chase puts together a pretty complex character. He doesn't end up following through on the round. Right? Because he does. No, he does. He does follow through. There was a moment where he slams his thumb in the car, but it was just a sight gag. It had nothing to do with story. Because I thought he was taking himself out of the thing so that
doesn't go anywhere.
Anywhere. And then Shervick fakes an arm injury and brings that's a good guy to have who has so much money that he can just fake an injury and then bring another better golfer. Like maybe he brings in, Mickelson all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Who was in Pin Cup, by the way.
Just to add another prick to the mix. Allegedly.
Oh,
Oh,
allegedly.
really?
Yeah,
Have
you know
you
what?
have you four ever golfed together? And can you please and let me film it? 'Cause it needs to have one more white dude golf movie.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we need.
White dude golf movie. Okay. All right. Naomi, okay, we need to write this movie. This is going to be the
I'm
female.
not kidding you. I actually think this is a good idea.
I don't think you two should write it. I think
You should.
no. I think non-white dudes should write the
No,
movie.
me.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like Sandy and I.
Yeah, exactly. Us. That's right. Us.
Yeah.
Instead of you two writing it, Naomi and I'll write it.
Yeah, we have enough going. We need to spend time
Yeah.
apart sometimes.
Yeah,
It has to
there you
be
go.
like
I don't know if you're paying attention to the Oilers because they're doing pretty well.
oh my God, are you
This is a golf episode. This is a golf episode.
It is. This is golf. This is golf.
He can't help it.
Because Evander Kane and Corey Perry got into it the other night. Did you hear any about this?
Yes.
And they're interviewing honey, don't do that. They're interviewing Evander Kane
People at home
after.
who are just listening. Sorry, people are just listening. Naomi is jamming a straw into her eye. Wanted to make sure everyone knows what was happening at home if they're just listening. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Max.
If you were watching, you noticed I ignored it.
Thank you.
Evander Kane is being interviewed about this altercation on the bench he has with Corey Perry, and afterwards they're both interviewed and they're fine. And one reason Evander Kane is saying that they're going to be fine is they're in a Masters pool together.
Ah.
And because right now the Masters and they ask him who he's got, and he says Tiger, and they're like, "Don't you think he's had his day? Like it's over?" And he's like, "If you're not rooting for Tiger, you don't like golf."
Oh,
that was
okay.
Evander Kane's response.
Can I just give you a little cue to everything? Anytime Matt talks about sports, this will happen. If the straw is nearby, I will poke my eye out. If it's not available, I'll listen to him.
Great.
And once he's finished,
We do have this thing in our relationship when I do talk about sports because I have to. Like I have to.
Yeah.
And she's around.
because I have to.
So the only thing I ask is that she just says,
"That's crazy, Matt."
and then I can move.
But he's so placated. It's so beautiful. He'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe so-and-so was traded for so-and-so. I can't believe the puck didn't go that way instead of that." And I'll wait and I'll go, "Oh, that's so crazy, Matt."
No.
Happy, 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 happy.
Yeah.
It's like when we were at Second City, Sandy, and I didn't know anything about sports, but if I got really angry about a certain sports person, Sandy was just fine.
Yeah, I would say like talk about the Maple Leafs didn't win last night. They can't seem to score a goal, and would say,
fucking Maple Leafs. Bertuzzi's just like he comes out strong and then he fails. He just has no follow through. That guy is just dead.
the story is Bertuzzi didn't play for the Leafs. And I would talk about basketball, and she'd say, "Fucking Roy Halladay," and I'm like, "This is just going way."
Wait, no, Roy Halladay was a basketball.
No baseball.
You would say it for any sport.
I just want to be on your side, Sandy Jobin.
I know. You were trying to placate me, and now you've learned you're a master of it now. So
oh, fucking Halladay. Don't get me started about Halladay.
Yeah.
Well, how long is this? How long do we have?
Rest in peace. So, okay, we got to circle all the way back because you're judging these three teams.
Yeah.
Which of these three teams of fictional golfers do you think is like the best of the fictitious, I guess, the best team in any way? And you can say their best as their villains or the good guys or whatever it is, doesn't matter. Which of these do you enjoy the most?
Well,
let's say it at the same time and see if it's the same.
Wait, first of all, there's one I enjoy the most, and there's one that I pick as a team if we're doing skins or some sort of tournament.
Actually playing. Okay. All right.
Okay, what's your favorite? What do you think? Which one do you love the most?
Okay, again, there's one that I love because they're hilarious.
That's
right?
crazy, Matt.
So you just want me to like reinvent a new way of thinking of this?
Sometimes.
How about you? Which one do you love?
Frank, wait.
Right. You're leaving us?
That?
Why? Because
Frank.
we fight all the time?
He's being very cheeky. I would vote for number one, team one.
Okay.
Because I think they're very skilled, and I think that they actually would get along well enough to get around the course.
It could be a team. Okay.
Yes.
Matt, what do you think of that?
Well, Sandy, there's two different answers to this.
Which one do you like the most?
Oh. Well, I would say, look, I love one is, but the thing is, I also don't. I want to trade Z. I want to put.
It's not the
Al
game, man.
Shervick on team 1.
It's not the game.
And take away Dorf, but
take away.
Oh,
Dorf.
okay. Then I want to have a whole. I want Francis Bay, Joe Flaherty,
hey.
Cameron Diaz, and like the Gopher on one team.
You can't just pick the supporting female cast of all these movies.
And the Gopher.
And the Gopher.
Okay, team 2 for skill, team 1 for jokes.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
So we have team. Okay. So jokes is team 1, skill is team 2. That's the team of villains.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would be
you need a heel.
You do need a heel. You do need a heel. So team 3 was Mike's team.
He is not happy. Look, I gave you the finger.
Just people at home, he gave the finger.
Crazy. That's crazy, Mike.
And then team 2 was Matt Kippen's team. And then team 1.
Hey,
congratulations, everybody.
Good job, everybody.
So Sandy, I think you take it.
Yeah.
But it does sound like if people were going to put money on a team, they might have bet on 2.
I would agree with you on that. Yeah. We kind of went, Matt, we went into extra hole from the night. We had to go play the 19 just to get through this. And it was close. That's another victory for a team that is a fun team. But you're right. If you're gonna go out there and actually win, you're probably gonna want the people that are gonna do anything to win, and that would be team 2. What would you describe your team as, Mike?
I would describe this whole process as bullshit.
Whoa.
And I'm never golfing with any of you ever.
Whoa.
But other than that, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, your team is problematic.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's problematic, and I think that's what drove us.
The actors are problematic. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would ask that maybe we could
just didn't do the exercise
from.
So you could separate the performer, the artist, from the action.
I can't.
Oh, well, then I'd have one with like Michael Jackson, Woody Allen.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow. There's 3 already. Yeah.
That's where we edit right there.
The team is Woody Allen.
Bill Cosby and Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is there, and Roman Polanski. So all those 4 are going to go out and.
That's right. And the Washington football team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
this
the
is
whole
great.
team.
Going great. This is going great. Matt and Naomi, thank you for joining us. Now, I want to just jump because I want people to, of course, check out what you're up to. You're always up to something interesting, and that's you have Baram and Snieckus is your website, and we'll make sure we tag you on that for people to check out. I just very curious, just because I know you have a play coming up in the fall. I believe is it big stuff, right? Is that right?
Big stuff happening at Crows in November.
What's it about? What's the vibe for people to know out there?
Well, it's about the stuff we get when we lose people and the stuff we deal with as a couple. And we moved from LA and we had to bring all of that stuff. So it's
all the stuff, you know.
It's about but also the emotional toll all that stuff takes in a sort of a stand-up sketchy kind of improvisational way.
Yeah.
And when will you start writing it?
Hopefully next week.
We have a reading tonight, Sandy.
Working with Matt Baram. Are you kidding me? We started it's good morning. What about this draft? That's what this is over.
Yeah. That's the part when people are like, you guys must have the greatest time, fun waking up. And then you're right into the grind because Matt wants to get to work right away.
Hundo P. Yeah. But we're looking forward to it. We're not fighting anymore about it. So it's nice.
We're taking bits out. Like we'll go and do like a 5 to 10 minutes anywhere just to see if this little bit
We're doing like bucket shows where if they draw your name, you get to try out your comedy. And if they don't, you go home and eat nachos.
Out of the bucket.
Well, you're always hilarious together. Your sketches together are really good. Your improvisation's really good. You're fantastic people, and we're so happy you came on the show today.
We love this show, and we love you guys. The only problem is we just don't like you in combination.
Yeah,
right.
It's a number.
Yeah, no, we adore all 3 of you. This is just a
Separately.
treat. I don't want to talk about golf with anybody, and this has been a treat.
Well, why don't we end this Zoom the same way they end Caddyshack?
Okay. Let's get laid, everybody.
Here we all get laid.
And you three have to just disappear because we have to go.
Mike, you look like the dancing gopher. That was perfect.
I know what I was doing.
It was perfect.
Did you audition for
Talk
that,
about
Mike?
impressions. What's that, man?
Did you audition for the Gopher, Mike?
Yeah. There was political stuff. I didn't get
Yeah.
it. I don't want to
It
get
was
it.
always going to go to an American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to say,
And all that time preparing.
you called me a great impersonator, and then Mike just stealing the whole show with his gopher dance.
I mean, duo. There needs to be more.
Take this shit on the road.
Sorry,
Mhm.
Matt. I just want to say, Matt, we screwed up your ending. You want us to
No,
tell you
it was perfect.
we're gonna get late. What's the exact line I want to do here? Matt, can I have an intro to that line? What is it?
I think it's. Do you remember what it is, Maddie?
I think it's.
Hey, everyone's going to get laid.
Oh,
Okay, here we go. Everybody, we're gonna get laid. Mike's got the dance. Thank you for coming on the show.
We
We'll
love
have you
you
back
three.
another time. See you, friends.
Thanks so much.
Bye, pals.
Okay, that was really fun. A lot of ways I could have gone, but at the end of the day, it went that way. But yeah, again, I didn't know. We really didn't have a criteria other than they were fictional.
Sandy, you're going to have to wrap this up. My head is starting to hurt with this.
Oh, sorry. Mike has to get back to a shift at KFC.
There's some blood loss.
Let's just say that the big crunch will make itself. So Mike's off to do that.
That's right.
Got to get.
I got to round up a couple of buckets. We've got an Uber Eats order.
That would be a great slogan in a golf movie right there. I got to round up a couple of buckets. And it's a guy who works at KFC, but also a great golfer, a phenom.
With a visor like this.
Yeah, the visor exactly like Mike's got on there.
We'll be reading that screenplay at our live show.
Hey, yeah, mid-June.
Let's do scenes.
That was episode 40, friends, and we did it with golf. We did it with a flair. Thanks so much for any of you that have been checking out all 40. If you're brand new, continue to check it out anywhere you get a podcast, and of course on YouTube. You're seeing us right now. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I'm Mike Shera.
Who's that?
Peace. Frank.
Peace, Frank.
Peace, Frank.
Frank, we'll give you one more shot. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins. Fuck, Matt.
Stop rolling.
He goes last. He goes last. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I blew it again. Damn it. Sorry, one more time.
I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I'm Mike Shera.
Nice. Frank.
Thank God we went back.
This has been This Week in Shin Pads.
Oh, my God. Let's end this day in sports right
As
there.
a hole in one.
Cool.